Nothing to Fear But Fear Itself is the 5th episode of the 3rd season of The Golden Girls. This is, of course, directed by Terry Hughes, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. And I don't actually have too many thoughts, and that's largely because whenever I make notes, most of the notes I make are about things that I found funny, things that put a smile on my face. That's not to say I didn't enjoy it, but it's definitely not the funniest episode, but it is moving. We have a change of location at one point, and I will talk about those in due course. It starts off with everybody around at the same time. Sophia is prepping for cooking. Sophia's definitely just providing a little bit of padding in this one. She's not involved in the main story as much, which I'm finding is often the case with Sophia, which is a shame, but it worked well enough nevertheless. And Rose comes in all upset because she got a letter saying that her Aunt Gretchen in Fort Lauderdale has passed away. And it seems like she's upset because she's passed away, but then it turns out she didn't like her. And she's actually upset because she has to speak at her funeral. And that's her biggest fear. And the episode is all about facing your fears. And Dorothy and Blanche decide to go with Rose to be there for moral support. And it also gives Dorothy a chance to face one of her fears that she feels like she'd overcome, but clearly that wasn't the case. She was terrified of flying. And initially, when she thought the funeral was in Fort Lauderdale, she was happy to go, but then she realised it wasn't and they need to go on a plane, and she suddenly gripped onto Sophia and begged her to not let them take her away. And obviously, she does end up going on the plane, and the bulk of the episode in the second half is actually on the plane, and I think the set design looks really nice, very well done. Definitely a lot of leg room on this flight. And what I found quite peculiar is that everybody's wearing their funeral attire already. Are they just going to land and then go straight to the funeral? I mean, maybe they are. That seems very, very stressful. And Dorothy is very stressed as well. And we do get some comedy here because Blanche gives Dorothy some champagne, even though Dorothy doesn't like it. And it goes to Dorothy's head straight away. And she laughs quite a lot. And we definitely get some lightheartedness there. And Dorothy is facing her fear. Blanche also has to face her fear because she has this recurring dream of being stuck in a room with loads of bald men, and it turns out it also involves an aeroplane, and that seems like it's becoming a reality. And then Blanche has to face her fear, and then it seems like Rose might not have to face her fear because the plane has to turn around, and it looks like they might not make it to the funeral. But actually, Rose gave her speech on the plane. She gave the eulogy, probably a watered-down version of it, but she stood up in front of people and faced her fear. And it was really moving and very well done. And I thought it was quite sweet. There definitely isn't, for me at least, a lot of comedy in this episode. I definitely don't think it's very funny. There are moments, but in general, not necessarily the funniest. Not a lot of laugh-out-loud moments, but at the same time, I still enjoyed it. I still thought it worked very well, and I think the concept of being there for each other, supporting each other, helping each other, facing their fears was really sweet, and I rather enjoyed it. So, Nothing to Fear But Fear Itself might not be the funniest episode. It definitely isn't the lightest episode, but I liked it. It's still a good episode. Ultimately, I can't really fault it.